Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I am going to walk you through my October and half of my November plans. So I chose to combine all of October and half of November because we have a week off in November, and so it's a shorter month, so I didn't want to do November by itself. So what I've chose to do is October and half of November up until Thanksgiving break, and then from Thanksgiving break to the end of December will be a second video. So all of October, half of November will be this video, and then half of November and half of December, because we have a 2-week break in December. So we'll only be in school for 2 weeks for December, and then we'll be out for Christmas break until the beginning of January. So I'm gonna combine the last half of November and the 2 weeks in December that we get into one video. So I don't use a filing cabinet, so the way I like to store my lesson plans, not lesson plans, but my materials and copies and things that I use is in these little tubs. So I got these from Walmart, and I went ahead and bought the whole year at one time with some money that I had, like on a gift card or something. So I just keep them in here. Some of them are like super full and they're hard to close, and like the lid doesn't close all the way on them, but I'm okay with that. If you would not be okay with that, you could get like 2 per month, depending on which months you needed, or you know, whatever. So what I did was create some labels, and then just put like a cute little thing to go with it. So this one is October, and then this one is November. So each month has a bucket, each month has a label, and I have them in 2 rows, 6 and 6. Well, really it's like 4 and, I guess it's 5 and 5, because I have like the first half of the year here and then the second half of the year here. So up until Christmas, from August to Christmas here, and then from New Year's to May on the other side. So it's just in 2 rows, and then I just rotate them out as I need them. I keep them under my desk, and as I get the materials out that I need, I put them in my drawered cart, and then when I am finished with them, or I've made the copies, I put the hard copies back on top of the box. And then every couple of days, once it looks like it's about to fall off or something, I just go ahead and stick it in here. There is no organization to this as far as like how things are put in here. It's pretty much just stuffed full. The only organization is that this is all I did in October. Some things are from last year because I swapped grade levels this year. If you are new, my name is Jackie, and this is my 7th year teaching. This year I am teaching 2nd grade, and this will be my 4th year to teach 2nd grade, but the last 3 years I taught 1st grade. So I started doing this 2 years ago, and so all of this was 1st grade stuff. And so the guys that I have now in my class, we also had in 1st grade, because I'm at the same school. So I didn't personally have any of them, so I have been able to reuse a few things, but like the bottom half of this is 1st grade stuff. So if you see me not pull some things out, it's because I didn't actually do them, because they did them in 1st grade. So some things I had to pull new things for, some things I was able to reuse, but I am going to sort through this October box, and then I will show you what I did in October. Okay, so starting in October, because I don't organize this in any form or fashion, I have it laid out right here by subject, and so it's not going to technically be in the order that we did it in my classroom, but rather in by subject. So I'm just gonna go over like some of the extra little things, and then I'll start going through the subject. So one of the extra little things, I introduced you all to my homework folders in my September video, and one of the things I'd put in my homework folder was a reading log, and really all they do is color the object, whatever it may be. It changes each month, but this month is pumpkins, and so they color a pumpkin for every night of reading. The homework can include, or the reading can include, the activities that go with their choice board. Again, if you haven't watched my September video, go ahead and watch that, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Their most common words or sight words, whatever you want to call them, and library books. I really don't care what they pick to read, as long as they're reading something they can color a pumpkin. And then if they attempt this, they don't have to get all of them, but if they attempt them, then I give them a prize at the end of the month. So this is the October one for my homework folder, and I am changing up my homework folder starting the Monday that we come back. If you didn't know, there will be 2 videos where I will be dressed like this. I'm recording 2 videos at once, and the other one is like a day in the life prep with me, but this one is just all about the activities I do in October and November. So I'm changing their folders. I got off track. I'm on Thanksgiving break, and so this is the Monday of my Thanksgiving break. We're off all week, and so there's no kids here, but when we come back after Thanksgiving break, that Monday we come back. So I'm going to change some things in their homework folder, but they have a November one right now in their homework folder. But I'm going to change some things about the homework folder because I already have kids not doing it, and the ones who are doing it are not the ones that need the extra practice. So I'm just keeping it very simple, and it's not going to be required. Homework is not required to even be sent home at my school. So I'm doing it because it's like a lose-lose situation for teachers, and if you're a teacher, you already know that. As far as some parents hate it and some parents love it, and if you're a parent that loves it, great. If you're a parent that hates it, great. As a teacher, I feel like it's something that I need to do, but as a parent, I dread my daughter's homework. But my daughter also isn't struggling, and so I guess if my child was struggling, the homework would be useful. So take that and do with it what you want. Homework is always a touchy subject. So another extra little thing we did, we're a Title I school, and so we have to do a lot of like parents come to the school type things after school. So we did a literacy night, and each teacher was responsible for creating a scavenger hunt in their classroom. So when the parents and the kids got here, they did the scavenger hunt, and it was all things literacy. So give your adult a tour of Epic. So they were able to get on Epic and give their guardian a tour of Epic to show them how they could use it outside the classroom and how we use it inside the classroom. Read 5 of the most common words that were rotating on the screen. So I put up my PowerPoint that I use for my most common words. If you have not already, or if it's not already posted, the day in the life of me, prep with me, I show it to you. And then count your iReady 100s. So I keep track of how many 100s they make on iReady, and when they reach 35 on the iReady chart, then they get to pick out of my treasure box. So they had to go count their 100s, kind of just so their parents could see that they were either doing their lessons or they weren't doing their lessons. They're trying to fix the boards again. That's something else that I go over in my Prep With Me video. Find your Apple writing in the hall. This was the writing that was in the hall at the moment that we did this, and then take a look through the classroom library. So they went over like how to find books in the library based on whatever genre they wanted or whatever topic. And then lastly, it was to visit the lunchroom, to read about the 5 domains of literacy. So that was this little sheet. And that's it for like extra things. We did do a room transformation in October, and it was Fear Factor themed, but that is something I'm going to talk about at the end. One, because I forgot to get all the materials out, so I'm going to do that at the end. So, just starting with the most basic is, one of my reading rotations is writing, and so every week they have a writing mat, and I print out 2 different versions, one for my struggling readers, and so it has like a sentence prompt, and then it has the dotted lines, and it also has a picture box and a word bank. So they don't have to use the word bank, but it is there to help them if they want to. So this one was about spiders, if I were a spider. And then for my non-struggling readers, my more advanced kiddos, I print out this version so it doesn't give them a sentence topic, like a sentence stem. Here's the topic, but they don't have to start it with that if they didn't want to. But they definitely could, and a lot of them chose to. So if I were a spider, and then they write about it. Same words, just the lines look different. So they have to write 1 to 2 sentences depending on which paper they have, and then they have to draw a picture to match. So there was a spider one. There was a life cycle of a bat, so a bat's life cycle. Again, the 2 sides. I try to print it double-sided on my computer, and then print double-sided on my computer, and then when I go to print it on the copier, I just print it one-sided. So the other one that we did was my favorite candy. So it looked like this, and here's the back side. That's my favorite candy. And then to go along with writing and my favorite candy, they all brought in, where did it go? They all brought in a candy wrapper. So I usually do it with like a math graph and I send home a little letter. But this time we were talking about adjectives, and I'll show you like the posters and stuff that I got made this month. But we normally do it with a math graph, but this time we did it with adjectives. And so they took their candy. We talked about all the adjectives we could have had based on our wrappers. And then they had to go do a writing on their candy. I'll insert some pictures here. Okay, so this was leftover wrappers. Then moving on to, so that's writing. Moving on to, I guess, like grammar and comprehension. We spent a few weeks on text features. So we started with this freebie that I got off of, actually I think one of my teammates sent me this, so I don't have the link for this, but these are in another video that I have, my September one, but it's Proud to be Primary on TPT. These, again, I do not have the, what am I trying to say? I do not have the link or the people who made this, but it's like a scoop game. So you tape these up around the room, and then whatever letter, so like E is a map, so then they go to their scoop paper and they just walk around with like a clipboard, and then they have to find the map, and then they would put the letter E in the box. So this was like all of the, like this one was a photograph, so then they would have to go find photograph, they would have to find the letter at the top, which was C, and then put C in the blank. So that was just a review of text features. We talked about it in our status unit. So, and then to go along with text features and kind of give them a more hands-on experience, we took a, this is not the one we took, but my kids cut up all the ones we used. We took a Scholastic News or a Science Spin, either way, whatever you have, and they had to cut out a piece of the picture. So like if they wanted to use this, they could have just cut like the nose, or they could have just cut the ear or whatever. And then I made this on Canva. So it was like the text feature, so they had to write whatever the text feature was, and then they had to glue in the picture. So like this one, they could have cut out this little guy and made this the photograph, and then they would have wrote photograph, and they would have glued it here. They could have done this one for heading, so they just cut a piece of the heading off, write heading, glue it down. Same thing for like captions. And same thing for like bolded words. So the one that we used had a few more things in it that they were able to use, but they had to give me 5. Again, write the word, write the, or glue down the picture. It was really easy for some, and a lot of them really enjoyed it, but I had like 3 or 4 that struggled with it and didn't really understand what to do, even with an example. So it was something that I enjoyed, but again, I made this off of Canva. So that is that one. Text features along the grammar line. We also talked about possessive nouns, and that is not a topic we talked about much in 1st grade, and so I kind of forgot how to teach it and talk about it. So this was a fun activity because I was learning with them. I did show like a brain pop video, and then I found these two, and it's like, does this belong to you? So it says the candies belong to 1 kid, so it's the kid's candy, and then the candies belong to 4 kids. So it was just about putting the apostrophe in the correct space. So there was this one, and then this is the same thing, it's just a different version of it. So the first one is the elf's hat, or the hat belongs to 1 elf, and this is by Kiki's Classroom, off of TPT. It was a freebie. So again, most of my things that I get off TPT are freebies because I don't buy anything unless I absolutely have to. But things like this that I use every year and pretty much every week, I don't mind purchasing because they're very helpful and there's like a whole year's worth. So this I did purchase, but everything else so far has been a freebie. This packet also came with like a very helpful like anchor chart posters that you could have printed out. I did not print them out, but yeah, you could have. This is something that we made off Canva. If you don't have a Canva account, it's free for all educators who can use their educator email. So think about it. All right, moving on to math quickly. We talked about lots of different things, but built into our curriculum was a unit on money and a unit on 2D shapes. So we spent a week on money, oh, and a unit on time, but I used the workbook pages for time. So this is not, these videos are not all inclusive of everything we talked about. They're just extras that I pulled outside of our curriculum. So for money and shapes, I did not use our curriculum pages. I pulled our own things and made it a little more hands-on. So this was a packet that again does not have the creator's name on it, and I got it from a coworker. So this was like a whole coin packet, so it was like color by coin, so whatever the coin was, they had to color it that color. And then there was a couple of pages where they had to count the coins, and the packet had a lot more in it than just the ones that I printed. So they had to count the coins. This one is nickels and dime count, and then this one is nickels, dimes, and quarter count. The pennies were a little bit harder, but then once they did this one, they were able to use pennies also. So pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, and then they had to draw the amounts to match the money amount. Draw the coins to match the money amount. So that was a whole packet that we did 1 page a day on, and I printed out one of these because there was 2 versions of this page. So printed out one for homework and then one we did in class.
And the normal one. Oh, it's the quarter. That one's the quarter. Because this one is a penny? Plus quarter, plus dime. Wow.
Same for shapes. So each day I just pulled an extra like hands-on activity. There was this color by shapes, which is obviously super easy for 2nd grade. The only ones that tripped them up were the hexagon, which I don't know why, because there was nothing else that was like that, but some of them got them confused with the circles just because if you look at it fast, they kind of all look the same. But then we did this attributes of 2D shapes and attributes of 3D shapes. It looks like this. So one day we talked about 2D shapes, one day we talked about 3D shapes, and we filled in these worksheets. And again, all TPT purchases for freebies. All of these are freebies. This one is by R. Rosenbuilt. This one I didn't actually do on the paper, but we did do in my classroom. Let me go see if my so I had a parent donate some marshmallows and some toothpicks, and then we had to, after we talked about the attributes of 3D shapes, we spent like an assessment day. I didn't actually give them an assessment on this, so we spent the day building 2D shapes. Obviously they were flat on our table, and then we moved to 3D shapes. So this is one of the 3D shapes, so it's the pyramid, which is right here. So they had to build this, which they had to build a few of them, but I just saved my example. So the marshmallows and the toothpicks, they just stuck it in. And then if their marshmallows weren't totally disgusting, they could eat them if they wanted, but a lot of them did not eat them. But then it came with I found this challenge paper on TPT, but I didn't actually use it. So they had to build the 2D shape and then draw it here, and then build the 3D shape and draw it here. How many sides, how many vertices. We talked about all of these things, but I forgot that I had actually made this sheet, or gotten the sheet out, so we didn't actually do anything with the paper. So that is math. And then moving on to social studies, we did, again, this is a TPT purchase that I actually purchased. It's a text evidence for nonfiction holidays. So there is a Halloween one, text evidence, and then there was a Day of the Dead. So we did these two. We have a lot of Hispanics in our community, so Day of the Dead was one that we talked about just to incorporate them. We also talked about Christopher Columbus. I know it's a touchy subject, do it or don't. We showed the Brain Pop Junior video and did this packet. So this one's from Heart to Heart, and as a QR code to watch this video. That's not the video I played, I don't think, because I didn't actually scan that. But then it has this little flip book here. And besides it being a lot of copies, it was actually it ended up being really cute. So you read this little passage to them, and anytime I read a passage like this that doesn't have any pictures, I just make them visualize. So I bring them to the carpet, we sit in a circle, I read this, they close their eyes and visualize what they think. So here's the flip book part. It also came with some vocabulary pages. It came with a map and some more questions. We didn't do this part because this isn't part of the flip book. We just did the flip book. So, and this took like all week. So yeah. So talk about it, do what you want with it, with that specific topic. Teach it, don't teach it, whatever you want to do. I didn't even know it was a touchy subject until this year, and I had already made all my copies, or I might not would have talked about it, but no one has said anything to me as far as parent-wise. And my admin was in here when I did that lesson, and they were fine with it. So, moving on to science, we again talked about spiders and bats, and I skipped pumpkins this year because that's one of the things that they talk about literally every year, and so I felt like I could skip it and it would be okay. I normally do the pumpkin jack, and I just didn't this year, so I just ran out of time, honestly. I have an intern, and so I've been trying to accommodate all the things he needs, and yeah. So anyway, we did a candy corn science experiment. Oh wait, this is just another writing, but it's the same one about the candy. So we did a candy corn science experiment. I made this to a page and made it into a little booklet. So the characteristics of the candy corn, the predictions, the observations, and then the outcomes. So you drop one candy corn in water, one candy corn in oil, and one candy corn in vinegar, and you observe them over a few days. So that is that. They loved it. It was great, and it was like low prep and all the things. So next we did a whole unit about spiders and what we know about spiders. We did like a KWL chart. I will insert a picture after I finish talking about spiders of our wall. Again, we had a KWL chart. We did a spider poetry. So they wrote spiders, and then they had to give adjectives to describe the spiders. We did this tarantula science scholastic news, what they learned about tarantulas, because actually people steal spiders from nature and then they sell them. So they make money off of tarantulas, which was new information to us. So we did that whole spider unit. We also did a spider diagram, so they had to do a directed drawing of the spider, and then they had to label all the parts. And then we did a whole week on bats. So again, I got this bat flip book, and it's by Michelle Hudgens, Smitten with First. So it had this, and these fold up, and you could have made it like a brochure, or what we did and what the activity actually says to do. This was on the back, this was on the front of the construction paper, but it actually makes a bat face. I will again insert pictures when I'm done talking. But yeah, so there was a bat head, there was eyes, feet, and fangs, and then there was a life cycle that they each got a strip, and then they had to glue them here. They loved it, but I always underestimate how long crafts like this are going to take. So what I estimated to take one little science period, which is like 20 to 30 minutes, actually ended up taking like 2 or 3 for some. So keep that in mind when you're doing crafts. They always end up turning out so cute, but sometimes I don't know if they're actually worth the amount of time that they take. So that is pretty much the extent of October. Besides my fear factor, we did do like a dress up, book character dress up day. All the teachers dressed up as like the bad seed, the good egg. Not all the teachers, all the second grade teachers that I work with. So I was the smart cookie. We had the sour grape. The only one we didn't have was the big cheese because we don't have an 8th person. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have a 7th person. And nobody even knew about it because literally like the day after we did that, I like saw an article about how the big cheese was even coming to be. So, but we had the cool bean and the couch potato and all those, so that was fun. I will again insert a clip if I can. As far as November, we did a second room transformation, all Iron Bowl themed, so I will save that. We did an owl week. Here is the November reading log. The writing mats. So November has been like really crazy for us, and there's just been a lot going on between Veterans Day that my intern taught, so I don't have any of that stuff, but he like made a presentation and we had a whole assembly in our building for it and all the things. But November has been such I can't stress that enough, such a crazy month for us, and which is part of the reason why I haven't gotten this video out before now. But I'm just gonna fly through November because this video is already getting long. But the writing mat was the life cycle of an owl. So we spent a week on owls. I ordered some owl pellets off of Amazon, and they're not cheap, so keep that in mind. But they come with some little sticks. The owl pellets come wrapped in tin foil, and I also bought a set of tweezers for them to pick it apart with. And then I have this bone chart that I put up on my board so they could see, to know what they were looking at as far as the bones that they had picked out of their owl pellets. They love this activity. I only had one friend who was not into it, but for the majority of them, they loved it, and I will insert pictures of that. We also did this little owl craft. So I'm sure you've seen on TPT where they take these little things, they make this craft. There's no name on this, and I got this from a coworker. But it ends up making an owl with the eyes and the feet and his little ears that stick up. And then these are just math problems that you glue on the owl. So I will show you a picture of that. I didn't do much. Like, we haven't even talked about Thanksgiving yet because I've literally just ran out of time. So this is usually the adjective. This is from a Rooted in Reading, but this is usually the adjective paper that we do with the candy. But again, they did it in 1st grade, so I didn't feel the need to do it this year, but we were able to write about it. And again, that's from Rooted in Reading. So this is all 1st grade stuff that I didn't do. We did go on a field trip to our local local historical site to learn about the first Thanksgiving and the Mayflower and their voyage and all that. So that was exciting. The only other thing we did so far in November was a room transformation and a Thanksgiving unlock. So it's called Unlock Thanksgiving. It is made by 2nd grade Sassy Pants, Cooties and Cuties. The packet looked like this. So it has an editable version. This is not something we've done yet. Hold on. Our kids did write a letter to a veteran, and we did grade it with this rubric that my intern made. That was fun. So we actually wrote the letters to the veterans, and I was able to send them off to some veterans, so that was exciting. They loved that. And they were actually able to like form complete sentences. Anyway, so we did this whole unlock. I'll insert some pictures. And but this was the packet that went with it. And so every time they finished a paper, they got to unlock part of the puzzle, and then we got to move their little turkey around the game board. And then every so often there was like a detour. So one detour was for them to get on Pebble Go and write 3 facts about turkeys, and then the other one was a directed drawing about turkeys. So then at the end of it, if you put the 2 papers together, they ended up having like a turkey craft, so to speak. So I'm going to, I haven't actually glued them together yet, but I'm just going to glue them together for them, the ones who were able to finish. I only had about 5 out of my 21 finish, and I gave them about 20 to 30 minutes each day during my math intervention time to complete the packet. So if they finished, they have the turkey paper. If they didn't finish, they don't have the turkey paper, but it's okay either way. But all of these are math related, which is why I chose my math intervention block, and it's all review. So graphs and expanded form and repeated addition, some word problems, 2-digit addition, subtraction, and fact families. So all review. Oh, and blocks. So that was fun. All right, moving on. Oh, here's the unlock pieces. So I like to store all of my things like this in a Ziploc bag, like all of my units in a Ziploc bag, just so it's not everywhere and I'm not having to go hunt it down. Some of the bigger room transformations, like this room transformation was Iron Bowl themed, and it fit in this little bag right here, but it makes my box not be able to close, and so I'm going to put it with my other room transformations, which I'll show you when I get that box down. But I usually just stick it in a Ziploc bag and then label it. But the pieces looked like this. Super cute graphics. It had a like unlock Thanksgiving banner. These were the detour pieces. So once they got here, that's when they did the facts and the directed drawing. And then each kiddo had a turkey on a popsicle stick. The other unlock that I did last year, I used magnets on my whiteboard, but I don't have the whiteboard space this year, so I just did this with some little adhesive pockets from Target Dollar Spot. So I just used these to move their pieces. So each kiddo has a piece, and I numbered them instead of putting their names so I can reuse them each year. Because it's stuff like that, and it's like, it's not a lot of prep, but it takes a lot of time. So I like to be able to reuse as much as possible. So as far as this room transformation goes, I'm going backwards with room transformations. This was November's. We just did this the Friday before our Thanksgiving break, and it was Iron Bowl themed. Here in the South, you either cheer for Alabama or you cheer for Auburn. And so we did it Iron Bowl themed, but you could, it's editable, so you could change it based on your area and whatever games you want. So I did change the papers a little bit. Like these were 2 different worksheets, and I combined it to 1 worksheet. So I had the questions, we made the graph. Had a few kiddos absent this day. We did this for morning work, design your own uniform. And then we did some activities to go with it. So this one was like a scoop game. These are all like reading based, like main idea and author's purpose and things like that. So it was a scoop game. So they had the little questions. It matched their little complete the past, because this game was called Complete the Past. So the little complete the past, they had it on their clipboard. They got in groups of 3 or 4, and they moved around the room. I put them in groups of 3 or 4 because these were a little bit lengthy for them, and if they're not great readers, this would have been an epic fail. So we just grouped them up. A few decorations. I just bought like a pack of dangly little things off of Amazon, and I hung them all over my ceiling. But yeah, there was like 40 pieces of dangly things, so I was able to do that. I bought this door hanger at Dollar Tree. I was able to hang that. But then we did this little recording sheet, but I gotta get my pieces to go with that. So we did, it was like a concession stand, so they were able to earn their concessions. So earn your popcorn, and they had to solve the 2 math problems. But instead of everybody getting a colored copy, sorry, I dropped some stuff. Instead of everybody getting a colored copy of this, I just printed them and laminated them. And I have 4 groups, and there were 4 of these. So we just rotated the paper instead of rotating like the kiddos. So they solved them and they reported their answers on this sheet. So this one was earn your drink. So they went to the drink football and they wrote their 2 answers here. And then as you can tell, we went over them in class and they solved the problems. So that was that. This was their most fun part. So after they did this, they got a drink, and I made like a Chex Mix out of popcorn, pretzels, and M&Ms. So anyway, to be concession stand themed. So again, trying to keep all this together. Another part of this that we did was this little edit the post. So it's like, it looks like a phone, and then it's like a social media post about the game tonight. So there was like all these grammar errors and punctuation and plural endings and things like that, and I put a few more in there because it was editable. So we fixed this whole group. We did that whole group. We did the graph whole group, the bar graph. So again, I just store all this in one place so that I can find it later, instead of like decorations in this spot and worksheets in this spot and all the things. So I just try to keep it all together so I'm not hunting it down next year. And it all fits snugly into a gallon size Ziploc bag. If you had the 2-gallon Ziploc bags, it would probably work better. But I don't have those. So anyway, it just fits in here, and then I put this in a box that I have. I'm gonna get my other room transformation out, but I haven't done that yet. It was Fear Factor themed. I'll insert some pictures of both room transformations, but I gotta show you the other one on a computer. But my intern made a game of popcorn that I'm going to take home and laminate so they can have it for like a review game when we do math stations. They like to, if they finish their math work early, then they can go play like some of my math review games. So that is that. So I'm going to pull up on my thing here. I have a room transformation. I have a room transformation thing right here. So all the room transformations that I have. So this one's Fear Factor. And it looks like this. So you have all these little, this was a banner that says welcome to Fear Factor that we put up on the board. There was the challenges. So these were all the challenges. These were just the names of the challenges. You have to come up with your own challenges to actually go with them. Here's some ideas that we got from like other places. But these were all the first grade ones that I did, so I had to change them this year. And I just picked a activity that was sent to me, like a freebie that was sent to me. But you just pick an activity for each lesson. So I was trying to see if I could find the other ones that I had. Again, anyway, I just have like a room transformation thing here, but these were all first grade ones that we found, but I had to change them for second grade. But in each challenge bucket, last year we did them in like paper copy boxes, but this year I did them in Tide container boxes, and so in each box was whatever you wanted to put in it. So like one had eyeballs, and it was the eyeball challenge, so I just put this cute little graphic on the front of this container, and then it was like a mystery, so they had to like reach their hand in there and make a prediction about what was in it. And I was going to do like a recording sheet for their predictions, but I didn't get around to doing that, so we just kind of like, they just guessed in their groups. but there's no like right or wrong way to do the predictions or the guesses or the rotations of the activities. So the eyeball challenge, I did little bouncy balls. The brain challenge, we did slime or jello. The worm challenge, we did, you can either do, they recommend cooked spaghetti, but I did pull and peel Twizzlers. The tooth challenge is popcorn seeds. The spider legs is pipe cleaners. So those are the only ones that we did. There was a bone challenge, and we did, I bought some fake bones from Dollar Tree, but you can also do milk bones, but I don't like the way they smell, so I didn't do that. The eyeballs, they recommend doing soapy grapes, but again, that's a waste of money to me, so I didn't want to do that. And then this one, like I said, cooked spaghetti, but I'm not cooking spaghetti just to bring it here and throw it away, so I did the pull and peel. More because I don't want to cook it and then waste it. I'd rather just throw it in a bucket and waste it. Less effort on my part. So that is the room transformation. Okay, so these are the little owls I was showing you. So they had to cut all the pieces, solve the math problems, and then glue them down. And I've just hung mine from my classroom ceiling. You can see this little friend, he's going crazy. But these are, again, my anchor charts like I have every month. But this is the adjectives one that we did. We did plural endings. So I just drew this one. I don't know if we did, I think we did this one last month, so nouns. So we'll move on to verbs. Everything kind of looks the same. I did start these this month, October, but they're gonna end up being little like keepsakes for parents. So each child has a folder, and I have like a 2-hole punch, so we just punch the holes, lay these out. But this is the back craft that I just showed you. The little feet are here, so this closes up, and there is the diagram, the apple writing, the Johnny Appleseed, and then those are all from previous months. So then I've just been keeping them in a stack down here. I'm gonna walk you out in the hall and I'll show you what else we've done. Maybe not, hold on. Yeah, okay, so here is my spider wall. So like this is all the spider diagrams and the web I made, and all their little spider poetry. Spiders, poisonous, good, furry, all the things. Eyes, poisonous. And then on this side of the wall, we have the writing. So my favorite candy is Smarties, it's crunchy, all the things. This goes with my Savvis program. So, well, my students and I created it, but when they break out into their groups, we have a reader, the writer, the info giver, the presenter. So yeah, so this goes with the Savvis. So when they break out into the groups, they decide, it's their choice to decide who is going to do what and how they're going to do it, and then they come back to the carpet, and whoever the presenter was presents, and all these people have already done their work in the group. All right guys, thank you so much for joining me on yet another month, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will be back at the end of, actually it'll be the middle of December to do the rest of November and the first 2 weeks in December before we get out for Christmas break. I appreciate you guys for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now, guys.